Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another episode of the CFTV preview show with myself and Kev. How we doing, my friend?
All good, all good. Just taking it all in. Good win yesterday against Blackburn. I think they posed a few threats by the looks of it. Got in way too many times. But we got the win, which is the most important thing. Going to the next round. But in regards to the weekend, rather not talk about it, what a disaster it was. Um, Completely, we just couldn't break them down. And this is the same thing that we was in conversation about prior to the game. Can we get players in the ball in those gaps? Can we find spaces? And can we take our chances? And it seems to me that teams with a low block we have problems with. Um,
Can I
so
just
you
interrupt
need
you,
to.
Kev? Sorry, mate. Do you think Blackburn played with a low block?
They did, but what I'm trying to get to is they play with a low block because they had to play with a low block. They had no other choice. They're not going to come and play against the Premier League team when they're in the top half of the championship. So yeah, they did play with a low block. And for me personally, from what I could see from the highlights, they got in. They had plenty of chances to get in behind us. Which what was going on there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, the reason why we put it like this, the reason why we brought them down so well is because it's Blackburn Rovers. It's not a team, a Premier League team where they've got better players. So we scored 2 goals, take it and run. But if we played against any other team in the Prem, would we've got 2 goals? And that's the question mark we've got to keep asking ourselves.
well, Kev as well. They had a massive penalty shout. They should have had a penalty, and yeah, they should have scored, mate. I mean, Sanchez made a great save at the end.
Yeah.
People were saying, "Oh, they only had a couple of chances." You only need a couple of chances, and then you're out of it. And it was. I'll be honest with you, Kev. I saw more in the games we've lost than I saw against Blackburn. I didn't see many positive signs, and I'm coming out of that game and I'm thinking we didn't really deserve that. Like we did not deserve the win. It was scrappy. It was ugly.
Mm.
And it's kind of a contrasting point, isn't it? Because we speak about, do you want to play well or do you want to get the results? Obviously, you want both. And we're going to get into Tottenham in a second because they're doing it perfectly. They've got the perfect blend of being able to play good football, but also have like a clear style, and everyone knows their job. It's not just frantic pressing and passing out the back for no reason. There's actually a structure to everything they're doing, which I actually think we have had at points. But against Blackburn, for me, it was very disjointed. I wasn't a fan of what we did with the ball, and I don't think we did particularly well when we didn't have the ball. But I mean, going back to that, I think Badia Shield was actually quite nice to watch. I think Disassi as well. People seem to be confused when I say this, Kev.
Yeah, yeah. But
I
when you
don't
have
have
to
a
talk,
problem with them.
when you have to talk about your two centre backs, yeah, it goes to show, like, when we've got an array of talent. Sterling, he started, Jackson started, and this is the game where he should have got goals. We played against a championship team, and that's the only reason why we probably come out with a win yesterday. Like I said, if it was any other average Premier League team, would we have scored two last night with that performance? I don't think we would have. And it's getting to the point where we can't keep making excuses up now for these players. We can't keep making excuses for the team, for the manager. Something's not right in the team, and it's got to be addressed as quick as possible. Can't blame injuries. Can't blame anything now. It's what can we do now to change it around? Because there's got to be changes. It's been too inconsistent for 2 years now. So what can we do to change it so we've got a more consistent team, and the lads are firing? Because right now it's not looking too good going into these next 3 games.
Right, let me just. This is a really weird comparison I'm going to make, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? So, Kev, you've got kids, right? So let's just say, theoretically, in the next 2 years, you had another two kids, right? So you've gone from a household of two kids to a household of four kids. Your house is going to change. You might even need a bigger house, right?
Yeah,
My
definitely.
point is, it's not going to be the same. And like the expectation isn't the same either. The school run isn't 2 trips anymore, right? It could be 4. You know, it could be absolutely mental.
Yeah,
And my point is, everything's changed with Chelsea, and we've basically taken this big leap, and people are just expecting it to be the same as it was under Abramovich. And I'm
mm,
like, well, fine. I mean, you want to keep winning games, that is understandable. But under in what way, right? Is that through sacking and hiring, firing managers? Is that buying ready-made players all the time? Or is it
yeah,
a different approach? And I think that the long-term approach is pretty clear, it's pretty obvious, and that's what we're doing. So as much as it's upsetting watching us drop points and beat
yeah.
Blackburn unconvincingly, it is
Mm.
different. And I don't know how long it's going to take people to realize that.
Well, yeah, of course, you completely hit the nail on the head, and that was a weird analogy using the yeah. But
Yeah.
I kind of got the gist of what you was getting to. But what I can say is, put it like this: we're making every single excuse possible uh, for the way we're playing the last year and the last few months. New managers, new players, new this. Tottenham, who we're playing against now, most of their players haven't played together. Their managers new coaching staff, new this, and they've lost their best player ever
Mm.
probably. So why are they top? Why are they top of the league and we're 12th? And this is what I'm getting to. Is it the manager? Is the players? Is the man? There's something not right now with what cooking, with what's going on. But what excuse can we pull out of the bag? Is it a long-term process? This is 2 seasons into a process now. This process started the start of last season. We're what 12, 13 games into the process of the second year, and there's still no changes. So we
Well,
can't
no,
keep.
there is changes, Kev. We've got a new manager and we've got completely different players.
Tottenham have got new players. Tottenham have got a new manager. So why are they
Oh,
top of the
Kev,
league?
it's different. You
No,
know
no,
it's
it's
different.
not. It's not different. So
It's
what? So
very
why?
different.
So why is it different?
Tottenham have lost one player. We've lost a whole squad and replaced it with a completely different squad. And we've got completely different backroom staff, a completely different manager. Even the people in the boardroom are different. Everything's changed. Come on,
Yeah,
Kev.
it's just too many excuses for me to. It's
Uh,
the stuff on the field should be right by now. Okay, we say we've got rid of players, this and that and the other. But what I'm trying to get to is Tottenham have got rid of a lot of players. Okay, they haven't got rid of a lot of players, but majority of their starting lineup, if you look at the squad from last year to the squad this year, there's only like 3 or 4 that was in that squad last year. So why are they getting it right and we're not? Is it Pochettino's tactics? We can't keep making the same excuse every single week for these bad performances we're putting in.
well,
Something's got to change.
I think that I mean, it's interesting. You said it was the second year of the process. For me, this is year one, because how can you say it's the second year of the process when the first year was with Graham Potter, Bruno, and Frank Lampard? How can you say it when we had over 30 players in the squad fighting for 11 positions? And we had Champions League football last year. Now we don't. So it is a complete reset. It is the beginning. Last year, the one positive that we can take from last year, which is kind of spinning a negative, is we made all our mistakes early. So all of the mistakes that the owners made with Tuchel, with the transfers, with player sales and player incomings, and at boardroom level as well, um, all of those lessons should have been learned. And I think that Pochettino is their way of rectifying it, right? Bringing in a elite manager or a very close to elite manager, maybe not quite at that
Mm,
stage, but I think Chelsea is, Chelsea for me was the job that made Tuchel elite. And I think that that's the same thing with Pochettino. He has the opportunity at Chelsea to make himself an elite manager, but it's different circumstances. So, everyone always criticizes me for talking about the process. We talk about Liverpool, we talk about Arsenal. Every process is different,
true.
and I get
Yeah,
that. But why Arsenal?
I completely agree with you. Like you mentioned, Liverpool, it took them 2, 3 years for them to
Took them
clear
4 years to win
Edward.
a trophy, Kev.
Yeah. But it took them 3 years to see him start playing in a certain way. They've got out a lot of dead wood and they brought in a lot of players. So yeah, I do agree with sense, but still, even under the first couple of years, they still got to the Europa League final. We're still seeing consistent performances. Right now, Chelsea have not been consistent. Even this season, we've not been consistent. We've won
Mm.
two there, lost one, drew one, and it's just, you know, we can make the excuse up as Pochettino had his best squad yet. Probably hasn't, but still, you've got £1 billion squad in your locker. You should still be able to get consistent performances. So
But Kev, you could have the
I'm
best training ground in the country. If you haven't got people who are good at training, it's pointless.
yeah, well,
You know, you could spend as much money, but it's not ready made. They're players that have to develop.
mm. But that's the thing though. Us would what would you rather have? Would you with £1 billion? Would you have had a team that's going to be competing in 2 3 years, or would you've got players in there that can bring you a level of consistency? And for
Oh,
me personally, bro, like consistency is the basic stuff for Chelsea Football Club. Pre Roman Abramovich era, wasn't this bad even then. So
yeah. But, I
we've
mean,
got
the levels have changed, Kev, haven't they? The levels have changed. Like the Premier League in the late 90s before Roman bought us was a different kettle of fish. We were in the top four, you know, consistently. People actually underestimate how good Chelsea were before Abramovich came in. Like we even won some trophies as well. I remember we beat Real Madrid as well. We won a European Cup against Real Madrid. We attracted good players, Zola, Ruud Gullit, you know, all these guys.
yeah.
And ultimately, it was the fact that Chelsea were able to get back into the Champions League that
But,
is the reason Roman Abramovich got involved in us in the first place. So people seem to think that he
yeah, but
revitalized a dead club. It
I,
was,
I,
you know, we were already a good
Yeah,
club before he came in.
we was decent, and this is the thing though. So why have we fallen this far back? Like, okay, look against Brentford, we're bringing on Washington, and we're bringing on Okunchuk, whatever his name is.
Good Chukwu.
I Okunchukwu. Like, I do not even know these players. I just what are we bringing on? What is going on? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
but Kev, that
there's got
was
to be a
that was a tough
listen.
game. Come on, man.
There's got to
He
be a
didn't have any
certain
options
point.
to come off the
Yeah, I
bench.
don't. You've spent £1 billion. You've got to bring on options off the bench,
But
mate. You've
that's
got to
not
bring.
no, there was nothing to
You've
bring
got.
on, Kev.
You've got to be experienced players for £1 billion on the bench. You can bring on, not
So we're
fucking
not
David
criticizing Poch here. We're
Hutchinson. I'm
criticizing
not
the owners.
precisely, mate. And
Okay.
it's got to be a certain point where if we don't see the January market and we're bringing in a bit more experience, there's got to be a point where we've got to be turning the owner and saying, look, what the fuck's going on here? This is Charles. We've got to a point now. Enough's enough now. The youth thing that you've done, you've brought in enough youth now. Let's go and get an experienced striker. Let's go and get an experienced centre back to replace Thiago Silva. Let's get some experienced players in the team. And when the chips are down, like against Brentford, we need more players on the pitch that can dictate players, and we can even so just bring someone off the bench that can do something, and not just bring on an 18-year-old that's got no experience. Because these players are not going to do anything for you when you're 2-0 down at home against a low block team.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Kev. I mean, um, no, you know, it's a fascinating debate, and we could speak all day about it. And I argue with Lewis about it as well because he says the same thing. Why Tottenham top of the league and Chelsea are doing this? But for me, Tottenham didn't change a lot, right? They lost a player, and they replaced the manager. That's what Tottenham did. So what we did is we replaced a squad and a manager. So Tottenham changed two things. We changed 20. I think it's going to take 20 times longer, you know, 10 times longer, in order for everything to actually click. And that sounds, you know, like I'm making excuses, but I'm just saying it how I see it. You know, it's not, I don't make excuses for no reason. I was just talking about the Blackburn game, Kev. You know, I know it was shite. You know, I'm not making excuses for that game.
Mhm.
In terms of what I saw, I was heavily disappointed. I was very underwhelmed, even though we won. But you know, it is what it is. We got through to the next round. But in terms of the process, fucking hell, I don't remember using this word 7 years ago, 8 years ago, Kev. I really don't remember that word. But this is just it's the P word, mate. Everyone uses it now. But it is a thing. It is a thing. And people just need the only reason it keeps coming up as well is because of the pressure the managers are under. You know, if
Mm,
Pochettino wasn't under this, because I think it's fake pressure. I don't even think it's real pressure because even if he
mm,
does lose 4 on a spin, he's not getting sacked anyway. I don't see
no,
Bowley doing that because if you back Potter like you did last season, he didn't even sack him till what, February, March. So
mm,
Pochettino's going to do better than that, in my opinion, because at least bear in mind we may not have the
no,
quality we had last year. We've got the hunger,
mm,
and I think that is what
no.
separates us.
It
So
just gets. The thing is though, it just gets really toxic though. Oh, and this is the thing, man. Like for fans like me, okay, I don't want to attend many games, and I will be attending quite a few the next few weeks. You know, we want to we just want to see the team competing first and foremost. We want to see the team scoring goals. It's just the same shit every single week we're seeing. Playing around the back, the ball's not going forward. When it does go forward, we're losing the ball. We do get chances. It's just copy and paste every single week. And when is it going to start changing? You know, we can
but
say trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. But it comes to the point where it's just going to get really toxic, and everyone's going to turn against the manager. And it shouldn't be turning against the manager. It's the people upstairs that we need to be coming at. We need to be saying, look, man, enough's enough now. You're signing all these players, and who are they? What are they? This is not Chelsea. This is not a Chelsea way of doing things. We go out and we sign players that have done it and been there and have got the talent to come and achieve things every single week on a weekly basis. Not players with high potential. Like, okay, no offense to David Washington, but what's he gonna do? Like, okay, I don't. I've never seen the guy play before, but when you're bringing him on against Brentford, it's not good enough, man. It's not good enough, and like I said, it's just gonna get toxic.
yeah, I mean, let's move away and that and look a little bit more forward to the Tottenham game, in terms of what we can see happening and where things can go. Cole Palmer definitely been one of
Mm,
Chelsea's best players, if not his best
definitely.
player in recent weeks. You know, for me, he is a guaranteed starter now. The question is though, do you start him in a 10 and then play Gallagher deeper, or do you keep playing him on the wing?
This is the thing, and we spoke about this last week of Gallagher. Can he play against a low block team? And
And
it's
we
proven
didn't
that.
beat them. And people said we were stupid, Kev, for having this
No,
debate.
no.
It was a sensible debate.
Gallagher's not a natural number 10. Gallagher's not a natural number 10. He's a pressing number 10. He's the kind of player you bring on the last 20 minutes. He's not. Okay, I appreciate the work rate. I appreciate the endeavor. I appreciate all of it. I actually love it. But when it comes to finding them little gaps on that key pass, he never gets on the ball. Like when you look at a game, I look at the Brentford game, and I can see the gaps in between their defense and their midfield, their low block. The typical example is Juan Mata, probably one of the best players I've seen doing
Oh,
it.
it's
He
brilliant.
come, he drop in the gap, he come left, he go right, he rotate, Vasca. And this is that we're not seeing that right now. Palmer, we're seeing a lot of it from Palmer. He's a breath of fresh air. He's got the potential to be our best player in a couple of years' time. He's that good. But he can't just be all on Palmer. Gallagher's got to be doing the same thing. They've got to be able to rotate and confuse
Well,
opposition. Right now, it's too static. It's too predictable.
yeah,
And
but
I
they're
think,
polar opposites, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. Palmer's he's got this full of tricks. He's first touch. He's got the vision. I think Gallagher on the board is not so good. But like I said, Gallagher against a team which plays a lot of positions, like a City or Arsenal or anyone like that, brilliant. But a team against Brentford or a disciplined, organised team, Gallagher's not the kind of player you want. Unfortunately, he's just not going to find enough space. So for now, we'd keep it the same. But I think when Nkunku comes back, I'd still keep Palmer on the right. Palmer on the right, Sterling and Mudryk on the left, and it'd have to be Nkunku in the 10. But like I said, Gallagher he's not doing nothing bad. He's doing the best he can, but he's not a natural number 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious that Sanchez is going to start because Petrovic still didn't get any minutes against Blackburn, but we were speaking about that before. It's probably just a confidence booster, and he managed to get a clean sheet as well, so I can justify that. Cucurella on the left, and then we're probably looking to see
Hmm.
potentially Gusto or Reece James back,
Mm.
and
I'd
then
still go with
Badia
Gusto.
Shield.
Yeah,
You still go with Gusto?
yeah. Friday Shield and No, I'd go with Disasi and Colwell personally.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I was having this.
yeah,
Who was I speaking to? I think it was Joey
yeah,
Knight, or it might have been Charlie. And I
mm,
was like, well, you know what? If Pochettino started Bandy a Shield against Spurs, I really wouldn't have a problem with it. But they did say, like, listen, he's only had about 60 minutes under his belt, and I was like,
yeah.
fair enough.
It's still
Um,
still fresh back. It's still like I said, the games against Blackburn and the cup games. That's where you want to build them up. Like starting James and Balashile against Blackburn, slowly build the fitness up. I think Tottenham, they're top of the league. They're coming up against an opponent where they don't look like they're going to slip any points at the minute. So it'd be best to use the safer options. Colwell and Gusto. They've played most of the games this season, so to stick with it. It's a difficult decision to who would you start, Silva or Disasi? Difficult, but I'd go with Disasi. I think Thiago Silva hasn't been the best, and I think he'll get exposed against the Tottenham, considering Son's movement in behind. That's a trigger. I think if you can get Son on the side of Thiago Silva, Madison will keep putting the ball through. So I think Disasi a lot more quicker, a lot more stronger. I'd just go for Disasi.
yeah, I mean, I suppose Silva can read the game, but you do need pace, especially against a really
Oh,
pacey, creative
oh,
Spurs side.
yeah.
What about in the midfield then? Are we looking at Enzo and who would you play alongside Enzo? Would you have Caicedo again? Because I
Yeah.
have to be honest with you, mate. Another, I don't mind watching a Gachukwu. For me, whenever a Gachukwu plays in a Chelsea shirt, generally speaking, I'm quite impressed.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen much of him myself, but I've heard good things. But with Caicedo in a game like this, I think he just played experienced player. Caicedo, he's got more Premier League experience. So it's got him and Enzo. I think Enzo missed the Brentford game, didn't he? And I think that was a big miss for us. Man in the match yesterday against Blackburn, so it's a no-brainer. Just put him and Caicedo in the pivots. Um, it, It'd have to be Gallagher in the 10, but I think against the Tottenham team, I think he'll do a lot better. Tottenham are
Mm.
not going to want to. Tottenham, they don't sit back under this Angay. They want to play football. So the Gallagher in the 10, he can press either Skip or that Saar. Either going to play. It's either Skip or Saar right at the
Mm.
moment, isn't it? In their pivots.
Is
So
Basuma injured?
I think he never played the last game. I think they've been playing Skip, haven't they?
Okay.
Oliver Skip. He scored that class goal against us last year. So let's get Gallagher on them, giving them a bit of a headache so the ball doesn't go through the channels as much. And then on the wings, no brainer. You'd have Sterling on the left. He scored last night. It looked okay. And you'd have what's his face on the right, Cole Palmer.
Okay. Awesome. And then are you playing Jackson again?
Nah. He's the last two games hasn't done enough. Hasn't done enough again against Brentford. He went sleeping after half an hour. Blackburn, it was his chance to redeem himself, and he never come up with the goods. That's to be Mudrick in that false number 10 again. And I think it worked. It worked against Arsenal massively when we were setting them on the counter attack. So I think you'd have to be Mudrick in that false number 10 again
I,
for
I
me.
think it was Palmer who played in the false 10 and Mudryk on the
Yeah,
left and Sterling on the right.
they was
But
rotating, weren't they? So
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, mate. I'm not even sure if Mudryk is available because he comes up on the club website as injured, but I don't actually know what it is, and the club aren't releasing any news on it. It's interesting because I did a fan cam after the Brentford game, and someone told me, I don't know if you heard about an air ambulance. Did you hear about that?
oh yeah, air ambulance.
That before the Brentford game at like 10 o'clock in the morning, apparently there
Mhm.
was an air ambulance, and it was right outside Stamford Bridge. Something happened, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, Mudryk isn't playing. Haven't heard anything about it. Haven't heard it had any updates from the club. So it's not a like a strain or a tear, or it's not a physical injury that you would get playing football necessarily, but
Could be
potentially there's
respiratory.
something internal that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that someone told me on the fan cams after. They said, "Well, I heard that it was something to do with Mudryk," and then I posted on Twitter and I said, "Does anyone know anything about this?" And I was contacted and said, "Chelsea have already commented on this," and I was thinking to myself, "Well, who was it then?" Because I haven't
Mm,
heard anything about it.
yeah.
But yeah, just a bit of a weird scenario with Mudryk, and I'll be honest, Kev,
Yeah.
I can't see him starting,
Mm,
just because we've had no updates on him. So it'd be interesting to see what Pochettino says as well.
mm.
If Poch says he's okay to play, then I think he will.
Yeah, that's like I said, it just goes to show our luck these last couple of years. Just nothing but bad luck in it. And when you see a bit of glimmer of hope from Mudryk scoring a goal against Arsenal and the goal international duty, with a click of a
Oh,
finger, he's out again. So, but it's
that's
gonna have
it.
to be Jackson. But I'm not. I haven't been too. I'd rather just start Cole Palmer in the number 9 and Madueke on the right. Because Jackson for me, he's just not doing enough at the moment, and he doesn't look like he's going to score. And this is the thing about if you've got a striker that doesn't look like he's going to score, it's like playing with 10 men. We need a threat. We need that threat in front of goal, and he's just not doing it right now. So
Mm,
yet again, we're going to have to go into the market in January and get like I said a few months ago when people are saying with Jackson and Broha enough. I said nowhere near. Go and get a striker from Juventus. What's his name? I wanted.
Vlahovic.
Go and get a Tony. Go and get an Osimhen. Go and get a world class striker. That's what we need because right now we're creating. I think we're third in the league with chances created, but our conversion rate's right down there with the likes of Luton. That's how bad we are. So we need the chances of getting created with need someone to put the ball in the back of the net.
I mean, would you spend 100 million on Tony? Because that's what I heard they're going to value him in January.
If you've just gone and signed Calzado for 120 million, if you've just gone and signed an Enzo for 120 million, Tony's worth 120 million. He's a striker, not a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, it's mad though. It's
Goal
because
goal scorers are worth more than your DMs.
yeah,
Goal scorers win games. DMs don't.
that's true. That's true. I mean, well, it's an interesting one because I think he's 28. Obviously, he's not been playing for, is it a year? How long has he been out for? It must have been about ten,
Tony.
12 months. Ivan Tony.
Tony. Nah, he played back in the last. It's been about 3 months. He's still got 5 months left on the ban.
No, he's back in January, isn't he?
He got a 8 month ban. So it's been about 4 months, 4 months, something like that. Yeah, because he's playing the back end of last season, wasn't
No, I think he got banned by that
he?
point. It'd be interesting to see. I'll look it up in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
But I mean, for me, if you're going to buy a player, I would have nothing against Tony. I actually think Osimhen is a riskier signing than Tony, just because he's never played in the Premier League. It's different, you
Oh,
know.
but with Osimhen, he's only 23. You're getting a player there for the next
Oh,
five,
he's only
6 years.
23.
Yeah, you got to
Oh,
get in a
that's
player
good.
there. It is brilliant. We've got it. That's all we need. I think that's the final bit. Apart from probably another keeper, but I think that proven number 9 is the final bit of the puzzle. Let's say, and if we go in the market and sign Osimhen, Tony, or Vlahovic, I think we can start looking up again. And fingers crossed. Hopefully, it is because we are close. We are close.
I don't know, man. It's interesting. We'll see what happens. Just before we round it out, Kev, I mean, me personally, I'm going to predict a 1-1. What's your predictions going into the Spurs game?
Oof. 2-0 Tottenham. It hurts me to say it, and I'm going to have a couple of my Spurs fans that are going to be ringing my phone. It hurts me to say it, but I can't see us getting anything from it.
God.
Monday night, their fans are going to be behind them. They're just going to play football, and I can't see us scoring. I can't see us scoring. And the thing is, I can see Tottenham creating a lot of chances, and it only takes Son to get one chance, and he's hitting a goal. It only takes Madison to get on the ball, and he's putting 3 balls left, right, centre. I think they've got a tiny bit too much for us. It pains me to say it, but I think Tottenham 2-0.
Fair enough, mate. Well, listen, guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you agree or disagree with any of the points that me or Kev has made, just leave a comment. Let us know. It's always interesting to hear all of your thoughts. But anyway, guys, we will see you in the next episode where we play. Who are we playing in the next one? Who are we playing after Tottenham, Kev? I've forgotten.
I think
We
it's
are playing.
City at home. Man City at
Oh
home.
God,
Just gets better.
Jesus.
Yeah, just
All
gets
right,
better.
guys. Well, listen, have a good one up the Chelsea, and we will see you very soon.